When you allow a thought to pass like a cloud in the sky, there's stillness. And then the next thought will come up. But then you don't engage with that either. And then there's stillness again. The next thought pops up and you do the same thing again. There's stillness. It's all about you. It's all about understanding that you have the power over your mind. Your mind does not control you. Whatever your mind is telling you, you do not have to engage with it. And the more you practice this, the more you will just feel free. It's liberating to understand that you are actually in control over what is happening up here. Hi everyone and welcome back to my channel. In this video, I want to discuss all the tools and techniques I like to use that have worked for me in order to get myself out of a negative thinking spiral. So this video is especially for those of you who find themselves in quite a negative environment where they have maybe people in their lives who create pain and suffering for them, where you are just in an incoherent environment that is constantly creating stress or drama or any type of incoherence in your body that makes it challenging for you to think positively. And like I said, I'm going to share a few tools and techniques with you that help me to snap myself out of it, to kind of go back into flow, to remind myself that I am the creator of my own reality. And no matter what is happening around me, I choose what I think and I choose how I feel. So I understand how challenging it is to think positively when you are in an environment that creates so much incoherence for you, whether that is a relationship, any people in your life, or a work environment that is quite toxic. And of course, what we need to do is eventually remove ourselves from an environment like this, because we can't heal in an environment that made us sick. So that needs to be the goal. That is what we need to do, because we need to be loving and kind to ourselves. And that means removing ourselves from people and situations that are not good for us. Now, in the meantime, of course, we can't prolong our happiness at some random point in the future. We can only experience happiness right now. So what we can do right now is remind ourselves that whatever is happening in our lives, whatever circumstance we are facing right now, we still have a choice. And we have that choice every single day. And the way I like to look at it, whatever is happening in my life that is negative, that is creating pain and suffering for me, I do not allow that to have power over me. So for example, when we are looking at people who are creating incoherence in our lives, let's say you have a boss or a manager or a colleague who is rude to you and treats you with disrespect. What I like to do is send that person love, because that is what that person needs the most. So instead of seeing myself as the victim of this situation, instead I actually choose that this person does not have any power over me. That person doesn't dictate how I feel and think. And you can apply that to literally any person in your life who is creating any type of incoherence for you. We have to remember that every person is only operating based on their level of consciousness. And a lot of people in this world, they are in a low vibration. They have no idea how much pain and suffering they are actually causing other people. So all we can do is send them love and then remove ourselves from these situations. So let's just say something happened today. Somebody was super rude to you. Somebody treated you with disrespect. And now you feel really angry. You feel frustrated or you feel sadness. Now, the key here is to not repress our emotions. Because when we repress them, these emotions, they are simply stuck in our bodies. So what I like to do is I like to sit myself down, close my eyes, and then ask myself where this sadness, anger, or frustration actually sits in my body. And that is a practice. So with practice, you will feel these energetic sensations in your body a lot easier and a lot quicker. But we all have to start somewhere, right? So in the beginning, even though you might not feel it 100% where it is, you follow your intuition. And wherever you believe it sits in your body, you simply ask it to leave. It is such a quick and easy process to get rid of these stuck emotions from our bodies. It's the best way to deal with our emotions in the present moment. Because yes, even though we are telling ourselves that person does not control how I feel and think, sometimes people just piss you off. Sometimes people make you really angry and frustrated or sad or whatever it is. That just happens. We're human beings. But then we have to make sure that these emotions do not control our lives. They do not control our way of thinking. Because we know how it is, right? When we feel anger, we have these negative internal, like imaginative conversations with people. We sometimes even visualize these really aggressive things like in our heads. And that is what we can't allow our minds to keep doing. Because once you get rid of anger in your body, wherever it sits, these thoughts, they will stop as well. And the next technique is more of an understanding and awareness. So we all have to collectively understand that we are not our thoughts. We are not our mind. Thoughts, they simply pop up like fireworks. We have thousands of thoughts every single day, and they just pop up from our subconscious mind. We are not consciously thinking. And that is what we have to understand. Because once we understand that our subconscious mind is generating thoughts for us, this is when we can kind of create this separation between us, our true self, and our thoughts. So whatever thoughts you get throughout your day, you need to learn to observe them instead of having a reaction to them. Let's say your mind is telling you, oh, this person is so rude, I really don't like this person, I don't like this situation I'm in, nothing is ever going to change, I feel so bad about this. Then you actually have a choice. And what I like to do whenever my mind is telling me anything slightly negative is, I say in my mind, I consciously disagree. And that is also something I learned through the 1-0 sessions I do. And by doing this, I am reprogramming my mind to think differently. Because once I stop engaging with the thoughts that create pain and suffering in myself or that create negative emotions, my subconscious mind will learn, it will understand, okay, she's not engaging with those thoughts anymore, so let's give her something else. And that's also something we have to understand. Our mind is not against us. It's programmed to be negative based on our experiences, based on the world we live in, based on the information we are taking in on a daily basis. And again, when you are in an environment that creates so much incoherence in your life, your subconscious mind will be programmed in a negative way. And your subconscious mind will continue to give you thoughts that you engage with, the thoughts that you predominantly engage with. And when they're negative, they're negative. It's neutral. Like your subconscious mind is completely neutral. It's whatever you choose to engage with. And by understanding this, I actually understood that whatever is happening in my mind, that is not me. That is not my true self. That is not part of my identity. It's just something that pops up out of nowhere. So why would I have an attachment to it? So I guess the second technique is consciously disagreeing with all the negative stuff your mind is telling you, while also having this awareness and understanding that your thoughts are not who you are. And we need to use our conscious mind to actually reprogram the subconscious. And we do this by consciously disagreeing. Because when I get a random thought in my subconscious mind, for example, you're not good enough, what I can do then is consciously reprogram that subconscious thought. And I do this by saying in my mind, I consciously disagree with that. And then you can also affirm the opposite or think about something else. Because the thing is, in between each of our thoughts, there is stillness. And that is what we need to find back to. That is who we really are. You get a thought. When you don't engage with it, nothing follows. There's simply stillness. When you allow a thought to pass like a cloud in the sky, there's stillness. And then the next thought will come up. But then you don't engage with that either. And then there's stillness again. The next thought pops up and you do the same thing again. There's stillness. It's all about you. It's all about understanding that you have the power over your mind. Your mind does not control you. whatever your mind is telling you, you do not have to engage with it. And the more you practice this, the more you will just feel free. It's liberating to understand that you are actually in control over what is happening up here. And all of this is so incredibly important to understand, because in order to get yourself out of this circumstance you do not like, in order to change this environment that you find yourself in that you do not like, you need to have a positive mind, because a negative mind will only attract and manifest more of these experiences. So in order to experience something new, you need to raise your vibrations. You need to think differently. You need to think positively, because otherwise you will just jump from one experience to the next, to the next, to the next. And all of these experiences will kind of be similar. They will kind of be the same, because the mindset did not change. There's so much we can do on a daily basis. And I think those two things is what we all need to start with. Understanding that our mind is not who we are. Dealing with our emotions in the present moment so they don't create incoherence in our bodies. And I just had this experience recently where I felt so much anger and frustration in my body based on a circumstance that is going on in my life. And when I asked it to get released from my body, I felt all of this like tingling sensation all throughout my face, my eyes, my sinuses, and also my liver, because that is where all the anger and frustration actually sat in my body. And then once it got removed, we just need to make sure we're not piling it on again with our thoughts. And then again, circling back to what we were saying in the beginning, eventually we do have to remove ourselves from environments that are causing so much incoherence in our bodies. Otherwise, it will just continue to get piled on. But again, that is our responsibility. Nobody has to come and fix us. Nobody has to come and fix our circumstance. Only we can do this. And we start by changing our mindset. We start by thinking positively. We start by taking our power back. And honestly, sending love to the people that piss you off the most is the most liberating thing you will ever do. Because we have to understand that these people are also in pain and suffering, and they have no idea how to get out of it. Otherwise, they would not behave like this. And I think that's all I have for today's video. I really hope you found it helpful. And just remind yourself, whatever situation you're in right now, it is only temporary. Everything can change, but everything can only change when you change your mindset, when you change the way you think and feel on a daily basis. So let go of this mindset that something on the outside needs to change in order for you to feel happy. You need to feel happy first, and then something on the outside will change. You will attract different circumstances, new opportunities and possibilities. And if you would like to book a one-on-one session with me, you can head to my website. The link for that is in the description of this video. I'm sending all of you so much love, and I will talk to you in my next video.